You may notice without needing to notice. When you begin to forget what you used to believe, something very different begins to take root. Because maybe you wondered before, or maybe you're wondering now, how someone can just decide right here, right now, that everything they used to think was true no longer needs to be, and something better, something more loving, more aligned, more powerful, can begin to emerge without effort, just like a seed doesn't strain to grow, just like Jesus spoke in parables. A shepherd doesn't tell the sheep where to go, he leads them. So what happens when you begin to lead yourself gently, lovingly, towards a new belief system, where forgiveness isn't a choice, it's a reflex, where compassion isn't conditional, it's embedded. Maybe you don't need to consciously know, and your unconscious already understands, how to combine these ideas, because the mind, it already knows how to build beliefs from experience. When those experiences are reframed, every wound becomes wisdom, every scar becomes sacred. Then your operating system, your identity, begins to shift subtly, irrevocably. You know, a belief is just a thought repeated enough times with enough emotion that the body says yes to it. So what happens when you start repeating truths that free you? Like you're already enough. You're already growing. You're already connected to something far more powerful than your doubt. Whether you notice it now or later today, you begin to see the mirror called reality. It only reflects the light you give it. And when you shine from within, when you radiate that love, even shadows disappear. Because what if every single thing that you thought was failure was actually feedback from your future self saying, you're getting warmer? What if all the old identities, the critic, the skeptic, the overthinker, were just training wheels for the true self, the new self, the light self emerging now? Like Jesus embracing the leper, like the healer turning water into wine. Maybe you can turn regret into compassion, fear into fuel, confusion into clarity, by simply deciding right now that it's time. And if love were a language, you're learning to speak it fluently. And if forgiveness were a reflex, you're activating it now. And if peace were your birthright, maybe you're remembering it's always been yours. Maybe you're starting to install these truths like a system upgrade running in the background, quietly transforming every behaviour, every interaction, every response. And when someone says something harsh, you remember, people act from pain, not truth. Instead of reacting, you reflect. And when someone misunderstands you, you feel compassion, not defence. Because you've become the space that holds others, not the storm they bring. Maybe now you're starting to feel it, that shift, that subtle click. Like everything is starting to make sense in a new, deeper way. Because love is not a trade, it's a state. Your presence is your power. Your frame is magnetic. People are drawn to those who are whole. So what happens when you become whole? What happens when you live as though you're already loved, already chosen, already divine? Maybe you lead like Jesus led, not by shouting truth, but by living it so purely others can't help but follow. Maybe every act of service becomes sacred. Maybe every interaction becomes an opportunity to reflect heaven on earth. Maybe every word becomes a prayer disguised as a conversation. And maybe you already know. You don't need to know how. You just need to say yes. Because as you hear this voice, which is really just your inner wisdom speaking to itself, you can notice. Do a beliefs start to settle into your bones? Do a faith takes root where fear used to hide? Do a purpose feels like remembering something that you never forgot? And just like that, you become the embodiment of these truths now, without needing to try, without needing to remember how. Just like a flower doesn't study the sun to grow, it just turns towards it. So maybe you can begin, or continue, or awaken now to a new you, built from grace, rooted in courage, radiating love, and maybe, just maybe, it's already done.